Hello, this is Kuntal Chakraborty, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JIS Group. I'm just going to give an important lecture on 8085 microprocessor architecture. Before I try to explain the architecture, I want to share some basic data about the 8085 microprocessor. This is a 8-bit processor and it is invented by Intel in 1976, and it has a 6500 numbers of transistor, and that is fabricated in a single chip, and its clock frequency is 5 megahertz, means it's operated with a frequency of 5 megahertz, and it has a 16-bit address lines and 8-bit of data line. By using this 16-bit of address line, we can address up to 64 kilobyte of physical memory. By using 8085 microprocessor, a 64 kilobyte of physical memory that can be addressed at a time. Now, this is the basic internal architecture of 8085 microprocessor, where we have accumulator. This is basically a register, ALU, arithmetic and logical unit, flags, this is also a 8-bit register, instruction decoder including the instruction register, and we have some register that is called the register array, and we have some memory pointer registers also into the internal structure of 8085 microprocessor. And another important part of architecture is a timing and control unit, by which different operations that can be controlled by 8085 microprocessor. And as I discussed, it has a 16-bit of address lines and 8-bit of data lines. These address lines is unidirectional and this data line is bidirectional, and the control signal that is generated from the timing and control unit. So now I'm just going to explain every part elaborately. First, I am just going to explain accumulator. This is a very important part of 8085 microprocessor. This is a 8-bit register. This is a special type of register by which we can store or load a 8-bit of data, as well as if you want to perform any kind of arithmetic and logical functions by using 8085 microprocessor, every time we need a accumulator, and the results of arithmetic and logical functions that will be stored into the accumulator. So this is very important. And next is the arithmetic and logical unit. This unit basically performs different arithmetic and logical functions of 8085 microprocessor. By using this arithmetic unit, we can perform different arithmetic functions like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. As well as we can perform different logical functions like AND, OR, XOR, etc. And after the arithmetic and logical operation, the result that will be stored into the accumulator, and we will get some effect onto the flags. Later on I will discuss the flag. Now next we have the general purpose registers. In 8085 microprocessor has 6 numbers of general purpose registers: B, C, D, E, H, L. Each can store up to 8 bit of data. These registers are basically used to store and load some data. And we have next a register pair, that is, these registers, again it can be used as a pair: BC pair, DE pair, HL pair. Now we can store a 16-bit data into this pair, BC, DE and HL pair. Now next is a program counter, which is a very important part of 8085 microprocessor. By using program counter, we can basically point out the next address that is to be fetched by the microprocessor. This is basically a 16-bit register that will hold the address of the next instruction that is to be fetched by the microprocessor. So basically, by using this program counter, the program sequence that can be done. And next is a stack pointer, which is very important. Stack is a special type of memory by which we can store data into some particular manner, where if a data is stored first, then that can be out into the last, means first in last out and last in first out manner. So this is a pointer, this is a stack pointer, is a register where the address of the stack that is stored, means this address actually point out a particular stack where we can store the data. So basically the stack pointer is a 16-bit register that will store the address of a particular stack where we can store the data. Next, temporary register. 8085 microprocessor has some temporary register. It basically holds the data temporarily for the arithmetic and logical operations, and we don't have any option to use these kind of temporary registers because microprocessor internally access these temporary registers. W and Z are the registers, they are the temporary registers, so user cannot access these registers. Next is a instruction register and decoder. Instruction register, after say a data that is stored into a memory, so the data that will be accessed and that will be by the address bus, that will be accessed by the address bus, and it will come into instruction register through data bus, and after that the decoding done. Basically the operation is happening here. Microprocessor want to perform some task by using some data. At this time, an address that will be sent to the address bus, and the data stored into a particular address that will come through the data bus into the instruction register, and these 8-bit data that will be decoded by the instruction decoder. The function of the instruction decoder to decode the information so that microprocessor can understand what it have to perform. Now this is the flag registers. 8085 microprocessor has 5 flags. This is basically a 8-bit registers, and it has 5 flags: sign, 0, auxiliary carry, parity, and carry. Basically these flags give us some status of the final results of arithmetic and logical functions. Whenever we will try to perform any arithmetic and logical functions, then the results, it may be 0, the result may be negative, we can get some carry from the final results, and this kind of status that can be understand what kind of status we have in the final result from the flag. So first we will try to explain the sign flag. This is basically a flag by which we can understand whether the result is negative or positive. After any arithmetic and logical functions, if the result is negative, then the sign flag that will be set, and means that will be 1. And if any kind of arithmetic and logical functions performed and the result is 0, at that time the Z flag, means the 0 flag, that will be set. If the result is non-zero value, then that will be reset, means that will be 0. Now if any carry is generated, means 8 bit of data, 8 bit of data, after addition, if a carry is generated at the from the D7 bit, then the carry flag that will be set as 1, otherwise that will be 0. And the auxiliary card parry, that is basically a carry generated from the D3 to D4 bit. If a carry is generated from D3 to D4 bit, then the auxiliary carry that will be set as 1, otherwise that will be equal to 0. Parity bit, if the result has even number of ones, means it has a even parity, then the parity flag that will be set as 1, otherwise that will be equal to 0. So these are the flags by which we can understand the arithmetic and logical functions performed by the microprocessors, and we can get the status of the results by using these flags. Now, timing and control unit, which is very, very important. Suppose if you want to perform any read operation or write operation, suppose a data that is stored into a memory, microprocessor is try to read the data. At that time, microprocessor will send a read signal to the memory so that the data can be read from the memory. At the same time, if some data microprocessor want to write into a particular memory, it will send a write signal to the memory so that the microprocessor can write a data into a particular address. So these are the timing and control signal by which we can control the different functions of 8085 microprocessor. The control signals like ready signal, which is very important signal. Suppose a microprocessor is connected with a peripheral device whose speed is very small than the microprocessor frequency, then the peripheral device send a ready signal to the microprocessor by telling that this device is ready to accept any data. So these are the control signals, and we have another signal that is a ALE signal, that is the address latch enable signals. So in 8085 microprocessor has 16 bit of address lines that is divided into two parts. One is a higher order address and another one is a lower order multiplex address data bus, where the data and lower order address multiplexed. So if you want to segregate this address and data, then we have to use ALE signal. When the ALE is high, then the multiplex address lower order address data bus behave like a address bus, and when the ALE is low, then the multiplex address data bus behave like a data bus. So these are the control signals. Now the status signals, we have S0, S1, IO/M bar. IO/M bars means input output and memory signals. So if memory related operation is happening, then this pin that will generate a low signal. If any input output operation is happening, at that time this pin will generate a 1 signal, because this is a input output related operations. This S0, S1 and IO/M bar basically give us some status of the microprocessor operations. Microprocessor performing different types of operations. It may be opcode fetch, it may be memory read, it may be memory write, it may be input output read, it may be input output write. So this kind of operation status that can be seen by using these 3 lines, that is S0, S1 and IO/M bar signals, and we can get some status of the recent operations of 8085 microprocessor. Next is a DMA signals. These signals are hold and HLDA. Whenever we want to give some access of internal address and data bus to a peripheral device, then a hold signal that is accepted by the microprocessor, and it will send a acknowledgement signal to the peripheral device by telling that internal data bus and address bus that can be used by the peripheral device. And next, reset signals. If a user want to reset the microprocessor, he or she can send a reset signal to the resetting pin of microprocessor, then the microprocessor that will be reset. At the same time, if microprocessor want to reset any peripheral device, then it will send a reset out signal to the peripheral device, and a peripheral device that can be reset by using this signal. Next is the interrupt control. Now first we have to learn the interrupt. What is interrupt of microprocessor? If a microprocessor is performing a task, at the same time if some peripheral device is asking to access the microprocessor to perform some operation, at that time interrupt occurred. Means the microprocessor will give the preference of the peripheral device's operations by pausing its operation and by priority basis. So this is the interrupt procedure, and that can be done by using 5 pins. In 8085 microprocessor has 5 interrupt lines, that is INTR, RST 7.5, RST 6.5 and trap. By using these 5 lines, microprocessor can be interrupted, and peripheral devices that can perform different tasks in urgent basis by using 8085 microprocessor. Next, serial input output control. Basically, the communication that may be in a parallel way or it may be in a serial way. If microprocessor want to perform the data, if microprocessor want to send some data serially, then we need these 2 pins or signals, that is SID and SOD. SID is serial input data and SOD is a serial output data. By using these 2 lines, the data that can be serially in and out to the microprocessor from the microprocessor. So these 2 lines are very important for serial communication. Next is the address and data bus. I already discussed address and data bus. In 8085 microprocessor has 16 bit of address lines. These 16 bit of address lines divided into 2 parts. One is a higher order address and next one is a lower order address, which is multiplexed with the data bus. And this address bus is unidirectional, means it can address any memory or any chip by sending a address, 16-bit address to it. And data bus, which is a bidirectional, means we can send the data, means microprocessor can send the data into a outer device or memory. Similarly, it can accept the data from outer device or peripheral device or from memory to the microprocessor. That's why it is a bidirectional data bus, and it has a length of 8 lines. So this is the address and data bus. Now this is the functional block diagram of 8085 microprocessor. I already discussed all the internal parts of 8085 microprocessor. Now how the operation is happening, I'm just going to explain it. In the memory, the instructions that is written or a program is already written. If microprocessor want to access this data, then it will send the address through this address data bus. Now in this address bus that is basically divided into two parts. One is the higher order address and next one is the lower order address. Lower order address is basically multiplexed address and data bus, and we have a control signal that is ALE signal. ALE signal that will send to the multiplex address data bus to segregate address and data bus. Whenever an active high signal will send to it, then this behave like a address bus. This multiplex address data bus basically attached with a latch, that is the LS373 latch. If a ALE signal sent to it, then that is behave like a address bus, that is the lower order address. Then the addressing that can be done. After that, the ALE that will be low and the multiplex address data bus that behave like a data bus. Now after addressing, the data that can be addressed from a particular memory and the data that will be sent to a data bus through the data bus, and it will come to the instruction register. The data come here through these lines and it will come to the instruction register, and finally it will come into the instruction decoder and it will decode the instruction, and microprocessor can understand what it have to perform, what kind of operation it have to perform, and accordingly the control signal, different control signals that will be sent to the peripheral device or a memory. If the microprocessor wants to read the instruction, then it will send a read signal. If microprocessor want to write something into a memory, then a write signal that will be sent. ALE signal I already discussed, and these three signals, S0, S1 and IO M bar signals, that will give us the status of different operations, whether microprocessor is fetching opcode or any memory read, memory write, input output read, input output write operations is going on or not. So we will get some combinations of data by which we can get the status of the different operations. And here we have a hold and HLDA that is basically used for the DMA operations, and I already discussed the ready signal. Basically this is used for the communication with the peripheral device with a high-end processor, and the peripheral device has a lower frequency. So this is the ready signal. I already discussed the clock out signal that will be sent to the microprocessor from the outer side. If the clock frequency that can be the clock frequency of 8085 microprocessor that can be get from the output side, and here we have reset in and reset out signal. Reset in signal, this is the active low signal that will be sent to the user to the 8085 microprocessor to reset the microprocessor, as well as if you want to reset some output device, then that will be sent a reset. Microprocessor will send a reset out signal to the peripheral device to reset the peripheral device. And here we have the interrupt control. Here we have the interrupt lines: INT, trap, RST 7.5, RST 6.5, RST 5.5, and we have a INTA bar signal that is basically a interrupt acknowledgement signal that will send to the peripheral device after accepting the interrupt. Means microprocessor will send the acknowledgement signal to the interrupt, peripheral device, that is the INTA bar signal. And this is the serial IO control signals, that is SID and SOD. These signals are used for the serial operations for input and output. That's all. Thank you.